Hey, I'm going to go over a few of the NEA's official positions on a few different things that I think limit competition. But in the process, I came across this, and this is from the NEA website. It says, Myths and Facts about educator pay. Myth. Teachers make just as much as other comparable professions. According to a recent study, fact given by the NEA. The national average for teaching is $30,000. Other college graduates who enter fields requiring similar training and responsibilities start at higher salaries. Computer programmers start at $43,000, public accounting start at $44,000, and registered nurses start at an average of $45,000. Okay, so they're already ahead of my argument. Oh, NEA's on top of the ball. I'm going to say, well, look, they only work 3/4 of the year. Oh, but no, they're already hip to that. Myth. Teachers are well paid when their weekly or hourly wage is compared with other professions rather than their annual salary. Fact. Teacher critics who make this claim use data collected by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics in its annual National Compensation Survey. But National Compensation Survey data are based on employer surveys, and the NCS measures scheduled hours, not the work teachers do outside the school day. Because teachers do not work the familiar full year and 9-to-5 schedules that most professionals have, the comparison is one of apples to oranges. Well, boo-hoo, NEA, with your teacher union. You think sales managers don't spend any time outside of the scheduled work day working on their projects? You think office managers don't spend any time outside their scheduled work day working on everything that they have to do to get ready for the next day? Okay. Do you think the salaried office manager spends only 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day or 7 hours a day working on his job, but he's compensated at an 8-hour pay rate, but he probably goes home, he's probably got a 10-hour work day, or he may just stay at the office uncompensated. You don't think anybody else takes their work home with them? You don't think the architect takes his papers home with him? You don't think the construction foreman worries about his job outside of that hourly pay, the 8 hours that he's at work every day? You don't think he worries about things outside of work? Come on. Everybody works outside of work. And yeah, sure, this survey only measures the scheduled hours. But you're not making up for having summers off by doing extra work at home that nobody else does. I got news for you. Everybody does extra work at home that they're not compensated for. Myth. School day is only 6 or 7 hours, so it's only fair that teachers make less than full-time professionals. Oh, the fact supplied by the NEA. Other professionals hardly have the monopoly on the long workday. Many studies conclude that teachers work as long or longer than the typical 40-hour work week. We've already discussed that. Myth. Teachers have summers off. Well, yeah, they do. They're not teaching. Fact. Oh, let's get the facts from the NEA. Students have summers off. Teachers spend summers working second jobs, teaching summer school, and taking classes for certification renewal or to advance their careers. Oh, okay. I see, because the plumber, he requires no additional education. The irrigation contractor, he requires no ongoing education. He doesn't have to maintain certificates for his pay. He just goes out there, gets certified one time, and gets paid a full day and has to work the summers. But in return, he never has to do any ongoing education or maintain his certificates. Of course he does. Everybody has to maintain certificates. The plumber has to maintain certificates. The real estate agent has to go through ongoing education to maintain their certificate. The irrigation contractor. What? You make up for having the summers off by going and taking classes for certification renewal to advance your career? Well, boo freaking who? That's called having a job. That's called having a career and being a professional. But evidently the NEA doesn't want teachers to be subjected to the same rigors of career that everybody else is subjected to. Boo-hoo, you got extra certification. Welcome to the life. Welcome to work. this is a myth right here. Thanks to tenure, teachers can never be fired, no matter how bad they are. Oh, I know for a fact that's a myth, because after about 2 or 3 years of a long, drawn-out legal process, yes, some teachers can be fired after about 3 or 4 years of legal wrangling. Yes, they can. In New York City, a guy, John Stossel, the guy from ABC's 2020, he published the process that it takes to terminate a teacher in New York City schools, and the process was 2 or 3 pages long. And this was after it had gone through a simplification process. But let's see what the NEA says. This just does not mean a job for life, as many people believe. It means just cause for discipline and termination. It means due process after administrators prove their case. That's similar to what American citizens expect when charged with a violation of a law. So, in other words, to lose your job, you have to do something equivalent to violating the law. They want a termination process to go through the same rigors as convicting someone of a felony. So only felons can get fired? Well, no, not even felons get fired usually, because people that have been convicted of child molestation are hard to get out of the New York City public school system. So they want the same requirements of charging someone with a violation of the law to be applied to terminating somebody. I got news for you. If my employer doesn't think I'm doing a good job, I don't get a hearing by a jury of my peers. And I don't think anybody does, except for those, protected by the union. Unlike other professions, this is a myth, teachers get automatic raises regardless of how well they perform their work. Name a profession in which, fact. I love how this goes to fact, and it just goes to like yelling. The facts section on this one says, name a profession in which people earn less each year, with less in italics. Now there's like a little, argument in this myth and facts section. Okay, I'll name you one. Tire building. Okay? I'm going to earn less this year than I did last year, not because of any, I worked less overtime or anything like that. The value of my compensation package has just gone down. It just has. The company's cutting costs to deal with market conditions. So, yeah, I'm going to make less this year than I did last year. Not because of any lower performance on my part or anything. I'm just going to make less. So, tire building, there's one. I mean, people are not guaranteed raises. First thing they did when this economic downturn hit, they came around and said, you're not getting your yearly standard increase. Okay? Teachers aren't suffering that same fate. If schools were allowed to grant merit pay, this is a myth according to the NEA, good teachers would be well compensated. The fundamental problem is low teacher pay, period. This is a fact. The fundamental problem is lower teacher pay, period. Merit pay schemes are weak. A weak answer to the national compensation crisis. And this is where I got into this deal about competition. Merit pay systems force teachers to compete rather than cooperate. Oh no! Teachers are going to compete. Oh my! Heaven forbid we have teachers competing to see who can educate a child better. Oh, we couldn't have it. No, sir. It creates a disincentive for teachers to share information and teaching techniques. This is especially true because there's always a limited pool of money for merit pay. I mean, come on. Come on. Oh, limiting competition. We would hate for there to be any competition in educating our students any better. We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't want them to be forced to compete to see who could educate a child better. Okay, more on this competition issue in my next video.